Brand new equity peaks in Cobra 3 2022 1 minute. This is a long-term pattern that we have traded in many markets and continue to trade. You can see the drawdown that occurred from the end of May till about mid-July, and then it has resumed its uptrend. Brand new equity peaks in Cobra 3. This is a highlight in our portfolios. This is the highlight trading system signals today, exiting at the low with a fixed profit target that we have had in this strategy setup. I'm going to go over the latest performance for all of these strategies right now and give you my feedback on the market and what is happening here and why we paused trading. We talked about that. Typically, I have these set up for 7 months, and so I'm not going to go. I can't load this workspace if all these go back 12 years. It will typically crash if I do that. So I have to change the data, and we'll look at the most recent data and take a look here. 54K on the long side and 30K on the short side. If you take a look at that, it is only right 44% of the time. But let's take a look at the last 7 months, and I want to see what the long and short ratios are of the last 7 months. And we can take a look here 7 months back, and I want to show you that. So going back 7 months, you see 20K, 11,830 on the long side, and 86.30 on the short side. So 45% of the trades are profitable, pretty consistent. And let's go through each one of these. Now, in this portfolio setup, a lot of these strategies are just in a little bit of a drawdown, or in the case of Cobra 3, right at equity peaks. You see right here at equity peaks today, momentum reversal, had a recent equity peak here, has a little bit of a drawdown. VTNQ, it's kind of gone sideways. It's not doing terrible. It's one of our newer strategies, Robot NQ, and this is one strategy that I would like going forward. I think we're going to get a bear market rally again, potentially some strength, seasonal strength coming up here in Q4. And so Robot, we released it, and it had a big trade here, and then it's kind of gone through this drawdown. It's had multiple losing trades in a row, and I think now could be a good time to start trading it. It has a small risk, one trade per day, stop loss of 400. You could potentially consider making that a little bit larger. You could trade it with micros as well, but it's just in a little bit of a drawdown. Parabolic VSD, one of our new strategies, probably this is a bigger drawdown than you see the last 7 months, but not a huge drawdown. It had an equity peak on September the 15th, so just 8 days ago it was at an equity peak, and this is only going back 7 months, and the worst case drawdown is 10,000. So that's typical for the Nasdaq. That's not a large drawdown for the Nasdaq E-minis. Let's look at the long. This is a long only Robot NQ. Parabolic VSD trades long and short. You can see that in this setup, all the profits are on the short side going back to the last 7 months, and so 37,820, but only $15 on the long side, and 37K on the short side. So you can potentially think about biasing your strategies or readjusting the rules, figuring out why there is a big difference between longs and shorts, and potentially making those adjustments. I typically don't like to bias it too much, but the short side is so much different. It's always been different, but the difference between the short side these days is even greater. Now, if you take a look at this, the total trade is 38K. I'm going back over some of these that we looked at because we didn't look at the longs and the shorts on VTNQ and momentum reversal. But 38K on total, 41K on the long side. That means the short side is negative. So on this one, over the last 7 months, the long side is more profitable than the short side. And on momentum reversal, the total is 52,400 and 15 on the long side, 36K on the short side. So some of these strategies have some nice profits on the short side. Let's go over overlap NQ. 23K total, 22 on the long side, 1K on the short side. Let's look at the equity curve once again. Here is the equity curve for overlap NQ. SR counter trend to V2 1M. Nice equity curve, but not a lot of trades recently. 3,800 on the long side on SR counter trend to V2 M1M MQ, and only 22 trades, and some profits on the short side. SR counter trend 2 V2M, not a lot of trades, just 9 trades. 125 on the long side and 2150 on the short side. Tick pullback, this is a long only strategy. 63 trades on the last 7 months. Up near equity peak. See, none of these, they're all in just a little bit of a drawdown here. Everyone that we're looking at is just in a little bit of a drawdown so far. Equity peaks on Cobra 3, momentum reversal, a little bit of a drawdown, VTNQ, Robot 2020 NQ, Dynamic VSD. So far, they're all just in a little bit of a drawdown. Let's look at Tick Wave. Tick Wave is just a little bit of a drawdown. It has some nice gains, 19K total. If you look back since May, this is only 4 months on this one. 20,000 on the long side, so all the trades are on the long side. It's interesting how some of these work better on the long side, even in a bear market. Some still work better on the short side. So Tick Pulse, 17K total, 9K on the long side, which means there's about 8K on the short side. This is pretty well balanced. Just a little bit of a drawdown. This is just a normal equity curve. Some of these 7-month equity curves don't look. It doesn't give you a very good picture of how the strategy works, because when we backtest these 12 years, and if you look at it for 7 months, it doesn't really give you the whole picture. But it takes a long time to move all these back 12 years and then back to 7 months. And so this is Tick Reversal had a short profit today, then they stopped out, and so you see it was down on the day, but normal drawdown. Once again, let's look at the difference between longs and shorts. 53,880, 37K on the long side, 16K on the short side. Gap continuation 2022, 38K total, 39K on the long side. The short side is a loser. Let's look at, see, just a little bit of a drawdown. Gap continuation 2019, a little bit of a loser, or a little bit of a drawdown. Let's look at the performance summary. 13K on the short side, 31K on the long side, 60-minute breakout NQ. This is a long only strategy. Going back 7 months, not great results, but it is long only in a downward market, so it does still provide us with diversity. EVP1, I set this up for long only trades with a short exit, so I'm going to show you that. 20K, just trading long only. Now I'm going to turn it back to long and short. So here it is with long and short trades. 15,840, 20K on the long side. The short side is a losing proposition the last 7 months, which is interesting. Any momentum, shorting momentum this is a momentum type strategy. So shorting momentum doesn't work the last 7 months, even though the market is down the last 7 months. You have to kind of short rallies to be profitable on the short side for the most part. AT 2022, 59K on the long side. Well, this is going back to 2015, so some of these go back further. 38K on the long side, 21K on the short side. Pretty well balanced. Here is the equity curve. A little bit of a drawdown. So these are the Nasdaq strategies, and if you look at each one of these, none of the strategies aren't necessarily falling apart. It's not as if the strategies are individually, they're all kind of within normal drawdowns, but they're all kind of hitting a drawdown at the same time, a little bit of a drawdown at the same time. If you have 26 strategies and they all go through a $2,000 drawdown, that's a 52K drawdown. Ideally, we want more diversity on these, and we work for diversity, but the individual strategies are not, they're not underperforming individually. We just had such an extreme amount of back and forth right now that our diversity hasn't worked out the way we had anticipated it. So we've paused for now, looking for a readjustment on this. Cobra 3, this is going back 7 months. 52 out of 98, just kind of a break-even strategy. A little profitable on the long side by a little bit. Here it is. You can see recently this strategy has done well on the S&P. Cobra CT3 doesn't trade much. Going back 7 months, it's up. And this is a long-only strategy. So it buys the dip, And this is SR counter trend 2 V2M1M, and it's up just a little bit. Not many trades the last 7 months. Not enough trades to really be statistically significant or compare long and shorts accurately. But it is 650 total, 350 minus 350 on the long side. That means the short side is up. Tick fader. Short side, let's see, the total is 3,500. Long side is 3,000. The short side is 500. Here's the equity curve. This one is at about $2,000 drawdown. Let's look at AT 2021. Now, I have these set to go back 7 months. These two strategies have not traded in 7 months, so the data, there is no performance for those. Let's look at momentum reversal. A little bit of a drawdown, kind of sideways recently, and you see that it's long side is 7,300. Total is 29K. So this has done well on the short side, just like the Nasdaq version. 21K versus 7K in recent trade, and the 60-minute breakout short down over the last 7 months. We added this one in here on August the 1st. We started trading this portfolio live on August the 9th. Started on August the 9th live, and we've been trading it because we anticipated the market would have more short opportunities. Now it's possible that we're at a point where the market will bounce and have a nice bear market rally. A lot of liquidity continues to buy this. The S&P and the Dow took out their June 16th lows today. The Nasdaq did not. So we could be at a point where, you know, a lot of the shorts want to do some short covering, and a lot of the longs want to buy the dip. So we could see some vicious rallies as we end the Q3 and go into Q4. And so a lot of our profits have been made on the long side, and so it's possible that this strategy shorts and then reverses the long. So it can still be profitable if it took the short trade and then reversed to the long, lost on the short and then was profitable on the long, because the stop loss is 600 and the profit target is 1,000. But we may remove this strategy for now. Taking a look at the research as we've paused for a research break, looking at these strategies individually and as a group. So overall, none of these are doing terrible. 60-minute breakout short doesn't look great, but keep in mind I put it in there for the very reason that the equity curve doesn't usually do this. Other times it has done this, means that the long side is extremely overextended and the opportunity for shorts is there, and it worked out. It was the right time to start trading this live on August the 9th, right in here, and then it's come back here from its peak. So this one doesn't look like a great strategy, but if you place strategies like this in at the right time and trade pieces of those equity curves, you can do that. And so probably remove this one since it holds positions overnight. The two overnight strategies, this one and 60-minute breakout, are probably some of the worst performers right now, and so hasn't paid to hold overnight. Oftentimes it does, but lately has not. So continued research comparing longs and shorts and the best combinations and the bias to the long side. So wanted to share the latest results with the stock index portfolio, 26 strategies, a portfolio that trades 17 Nasdaq strategies and 9 S&P strategies that we are researching to modify for Q4. Hey, David Bean here. Welcome to Capstone Trading Systems YouTube page. Be sure to subscribe to join our community of algorithmic traders. We are real money traders. We share our winning streaks, we share our losing streaks, as well as market updates, strategies, and coding tips.